Hey everybody, this is Joe. I don't care how many people are here, we're still doing this. So if you're here, put a 1 in the chat box and we're going to get started here in a second. Let me know if you can hear me. Nobody can hear me, then my microphone is not on. Just a 1 in the chat box. Very good, thank you, Rob. Well, it might be just you and me, Rob. But anyway, it's okay if you don't respond. I'm okay with that. But I'm going to show this to you, and I'm glad you showed up. And I'm not a professional webinar type guy, but the thing about this product is it does do what it's supposed to do. And the main takeaway I want to give you on this is that the product's got a really solid framework. I just think there are some issues with some of the controls, some of the GUIs. And I've talked to the developers, a lot of the stuff's being addressed pretty quickly. So don't get turned off by some of the nuances that you're going to show. I'm going to try to show as many of those as I can so you can kind of see. But the main thing is that for hardly anything, you could do a webinar and look like a pro going out the gate. You can have evergreen webinars and live webinars set up for as many people as you want. You're not limited. And I'm going to take you through kind of a walkthrough, and what I want to do is kind of show you the interface a little bit. See if I can do this. I don't know how the bandwidth's going to work exactly, but let's see. So when you first log into the system, you're actually taken into a wizard, and they show you how to set up a live webinar, and you can walk through this wizard, and it takes you through the different things that you can do, like setting up a recorded webinar for Evergreen, and taking care of your users that are subscribed to your different events. The media elements, we're going to kind of go through that pretty quick, but you can set up like little calls to actions, buttons that show up in the webinar. And then, of course, your settings, where you can configure the webinar settings, your time zone, your autoresponder integration. There's quite a few autoresponders that are integrated. The ones that you see on the sales pages are, of course, in there already. I know that currently they're Active Campaign and Entrepreneur, the next two they're adding, and I was told they're going to have those up and running next week. But there's a number of autoresponders they're going to be adding, but they already got quite a few of them in there. And then, so you're popped into the system, and it's pretty easy to get started. What I like about it is it is so easy. So we can just click Set Up a New Webinar, and we can just give it a title. And we just pick a date or a time zone and a date. So we're going to set that for that. Set a time, and then you just hit save. So we just go down here and hit save. And you've got a webinar ready to go. Now you can go in there and configure it, any way you want. You can go back in and configure it. Like if I want to change the template type to a gray, then I can do that and hit update. But what I like about it is that you get this link right here that you can actually share right away. So you can send that to your folks, and there's an upgrade by the OTO. Includes templates to make the interface look better, but I'm actually logged in here, so we got to pull up a stealth one. Let's see if I can do this twice. Paste and go. Nope, I have to be logged out to see that. But before I log out, but you know what the interface looks like because you register, but it looks sort of the same way. But you as the administrator will see this interface, and so you can get it started anytime you want. And you have audio controls. You can actually use a Google Hangouts instead of using this is sitting on an Amazon platform. In fact, it creates an Amazon server for you, its own virtual server for you to use for your webinar. So you're actually on a server, and that's what makes it so fast and smooth. Unlike Google Hangouts, I don't know, has anybody here used Google Hangouts, a Google Hangouts-based webinar system? Because I have, and they're just not good. There's huge delays. The videos, you can't really stream videos. I mean, there's just all kinds of problems, and that's why I pretty much stayed away from any of those kind of products. What I like about this is that I can add 5,000 people to this webinar, and it should handle it just fine because it creates additional virtual servers as your use increases. Yeah, they're slow, choppy, and laggy. And you're probably seeing, even though I'm in the middle of nowhere north of Tampa, I'm out in the middle of the boonies, my internet connection is really lousy. So I'm going to probably have one of the worst connections for doing a webinar, but it should be pretty smooth. I haven't seen any issues with that. It seems really solid. That's why I said the framework itself is super solid. I'm not happy with some of the components, but they're going to work on these kind of things. But, it's just, but it still does everything it needs to do. Like, I can pick a media element here and display this so that somebody can click this for a call to action. I could do it in our own too. I could put this up here. If I can find my window. And you can see on your window, you should see a click here to get Webinar Jeo, and you can actually go see our bonus page and buy the product. So I was able to do that, and I can cut that off too, so I don't want you to buy yet. So I can just turn that off there. So, it's pretty neat how that works. But getting back to it, so we're inside the controls here. We can click to a whiteboard, and then it will switch to a whiteboard, and then on the whiteboard itself, and this is one of the glitchy things I don't like. It takes like 3 to 5 seconds to switch to these different interfaces, and I'm running 2 at the same time here, so I don't know. It's probably going to run a little bit slower, but the whiteboard will come. And yeah, and I can hit. I'm not starting it yet, so because I don't want to have 2 real streaming ones here. But you see, I can draw on it. I can actually upload images into this system, and then draw on those images. I grabbed a GIF image. I don't know if that'll work. I haven't really played with a whiteboard too much, but you can draw things on here and stuff. But then, of course, you can do the screen share where you actually share the screen. And I'm using a private one, but basically what happens is, and I could show you here on mine, but when I switch screens, I can actually choose my secondary monitor. I can choose an application or something like that, but don't run this in a private incognito window because it won't let you do that, because I have to install the app that it installs to do that. But you can choose, like, to run a video or to run a PowerPoint slide or a second display. And so, like, I'll give you a good example here is, I'm not going to go through the slides here, but I'm going to show you what it would look like if we put this on your screen. So I can just go right into a presentation and start talking about Webinar Jeo to you and go through this whole process. But I'm just not going to bore you with all that. It's a good, solid platform. If you're able to put up with some of the little intricacies, with basically these things, like, for example, this media element right now, I can't pick my element here. I can pick it, but I can't see it. So it's a little bit of a bug, and I reported this, and it only happens in a certain screen dimension. I don't know exactly what's causing it, maybe because I'm zoomed in a certain way or something of that nature. That's an issue. When I switch screens, it takes 5 seconds to switch, and so that, to me, is sort of an issue. And, things like that. But I'm able to put up with it. I'm not really that worried about it. But let me get back to the interface here. There's also a setup recorded webinar. That's the Evergreen portion. And you can actually pick out a webinar you previously ran, like this one here that's running right now. We could pick that one for the pre-recorded and then go and choose what days and times we want people to pick for a schedule. Picking what days, what times. We want a 3-day system. We want a 1 week. We can pick whatever days we want, what time we want them to be able to choose, or we can say allow them to watch now, and this will create an Evergreen setup for you. You know how Evergreen Business Systems, and there's EverWebinar, so you have that built into the system. It is pretty good. It doesn't look like a true Evergreen webinar. It looks more like a replay to me, and it's just one of those things, again, coming in as a charter, you would get access to. So if you, like I said, if you can put up with some of these little itty bitty intricacies, I think it's a great platform. And I'm paying, like, if you were to get a GoToWebinar system with just 100 attendees, then you're talking about $1,000 a year. And I got this for $300, right? And I have a lot more than 99. I can put 500 people in here. I can put 5,000 people in here, and that's the main reason that I did that. The previous webinars automatically get recorded by default. They are set when you actually set up the webinar itself. You can actually tell it to record it, but it's checked by default. And you can actually send the participants the link to the recording. You can also upload a promo autoplay. If you go to the, I sent you a link in my email to sign up for this, the one that's the professional one that's at 8 o'clock. and they run that every night. They're running that every night this week. When you go to his, you'll see he has a promo video inside the registration. So you see the video playing, and that's what that's for. And then you could set tracking code and things of that nature in here for Google tracking or for doing some Facebook retargeting. So let's see. Yeah, we talked about media elements. I didn't show you how to create them. They're pretty easy to create. You just create a new button. You give it a name. We'll just go like that. Makes it easy. Check it out. Label, URL. Okay. And choose a button style, a text style. I like the and we can hit save, and now I can use that button to get the did I hit save? I may not have hit save. Let's try that again. Oh, I already have that. I already have it taken. That's why. Interesting. So I call that another bug, but so that's why I say there's like little things. Looks like you cannot name a button the same as somebody else's. I bet that gets fixed pretty quick because I'm going to complain about it. But it's like I keep coming across these little issues. But again, it's really easy to set something up, very quickly and get something running. Just like we're all in this room, I'm able to do a demonstration for you. It does what I need it to do. I can have as many attendees as I want and that kind of thing. But yeah, that's kind of aggravating that you can't give it the same name, isn't it? But anyway, let's just hit save here and see what happens. Yeah, so then I was able to do it. So there's a preview of the button. So you get a little button there. So anyway, that's actually pretty much all I wanted to share. I do want to share one thing. There was a couple things on this bonus page. I don't know if you guys noticed this, because I thought it was a pretty good bonus package. Some of it they're giving you, some of it I actually created, so it's kind of a mixed match of both. But down here is kind of neat. This one of the pieces they were going to have as an OTO, a $200 OTO, they actually added it to the system. It was this attendance rocket. So you can push notifications to remind Facebook users about the webinar. They actually added that as part of the product, so I thought that was great. And there's some other pieces in here. Some of these bonuses are really good. I added the part that is, I added all this stuff right here, but there is a webinar training course in here that shows you how to do webinars, and it's pretty good. I took that course, and I think that's a really good course, so I want to have it in here. There's also, this right here is going to be very valuable. This access to the Webinar University. It's a master class. They're going to have professionals, trainers in there doing this master class, and it's going to be available for us. I think this right here would be sold for probably $1,000 if they actually launched that as a product. So it's just kind of a nice benefit. And there was another thing that's pretty good. It sounds much more hypey than it really is, but it's the ones that have the pre-recorded webinars you can actually use. So I don't know if you guys are doing any affiliate traffic at all, but if you are, then it would be very beneficial for you. But you could really do your own. They give you pre-canned webinars to use, and I don't see it in here, but I know it's in here. But they're okay. I think you could do your own and do just fine. But there's like a set of canned webinars in here. Yeah, right here. 5 pre-recorded plug-in profit webinars. A couple of them are really good. The rest are, I don't know. You'd have to be in that market to want to do them. But there's a couple of them that are really I could probably set up and send traffic to and probably make money on. So I thought that was kind of neat. And that's pretty much it. Now, I'm going to have to take down a couple of these bonuses, well, mainly my one-on-ones, because last time I did something like this, my schedule's so booked I wasn't able to do anything. That was the last couple of weeks, actually. So I'm going to have to remove that at some point. But if all of you guys got on it, I could definitely do it. So no big deal. All right. So that's pretty much all I have. I'm going to just share the sign up to get the webinar product. There is actually a monthly now. I saw that there was a monthly there, so you can go get that if you want to just check it out for a month and see how it goes. There's a 30-day guarantee to use the product, so if you want to try it out for yourself. But like I said, don't get down on some of these issues that I've shown you. Those are kind of showed you some of the main issues I saw. I like to have a professional setup, but he built it's hard to explain, but they built the framework rock solid. That, it's sitting on Amazon. He's able to, set up we were able to set up webinars on the fly with as many attendees as we want, and we don't have to ever worry about the price increasing on us. This is the price that we will have forever. Now, I signed up on the lifetime, and if I decide I don't like the product after, before my 30 days are up, I can just go ahead and refund it. But at least I'm locked in on a price that I don't have to worry about it increasing, and that's just cheap. I mean, you can't even get a 500 position and GoToWebinar for a month for cheaper than this, or 1,000, I should say. 500 for a couple months would be more expensive. So it's just a much cheaper product, but it's not, like I said, it's not the Google Places or Google Hangout sort of situation. It actually is very good with streaming and everything. In fact, I'll just show you a video as we close down. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask them, and I'm going to show you how fast an actual video will run on here. It runs pretty fast. So we're going to start it right here.
So as soon as you log in, you're actually greeted with this walkthrough. So as you click through, you're shown where to set up live and recorded webinars. You're shown how to find your users and different media elements, which we'll cover in this training video. And so this is where we start to be able to set up. So it's very, very simple to navigate through the program. You'll be able to just quickly and easily start a new webinar. You can also do recorded webinars and lots of other things here. I'm going to show you some of the different bits and pieces, starting with, of course, how to set up a webinar. So I'll create a new webinar, and you can see how fast this is to do. So I'll give it a title. So let's say this is my demonstration webinar, like that. We're going to choose a date and time. So let's say, for example, you can choose your time zone, and we might say that it's on this particular date, and we say it's at this particular time. So we've given it a date and a time. It automatically flags the webinar to be recorded, so you never need to worry about that. You can link it to the autoresponders. At the moment, there's a bunch of autoresponders. I'll show you those in the settings, and they're adding more all the time. So we then choose the look and feel. So if we go for a gray, for example, and then just click on save. That's it. We give it a date, a time, and a title, and we have a webinar now that we can set up and use. The great thing I like about this is that it shows you the link straight away. Now, this is the link that you will use to sign people up to the webinar, as well as you will use to be the presenters. So if somebody's joining a webinar, if I open a new window there, what they will see is the demonstration webinar, the sign-up page, everything ready, and it's all mobile responsive. So you can add in a free webinar video and add in some details here. And when people opt in, they're shown a calendar link. So if I say, my name is Test and my email, test@email. As soon as they sign up, they're shown a link to be able to add that straight to Apple or Google or Outlook calendars, and a link for the webinar, and the emails are sent straight through for them. So that's super easy, and they've then got the link they can engage straight away. So super easy from a administrator, so from a attendee's point of view. So we've created a webinar quickly. We're getting people to sign up. When that webinar, the date to start it comes around, it's really. So we're just going to open it up. This is the administrator's view of that same webinar. We can see that it's how many hours it is until the date and time. This is our live chat box over here. They've got some great features with the chat, being able to flag people with color-coded replies and pre-written responses, doing private chat. You can also make somebody a presenter with one click or mute them, so you can share the presentation with other attendees. When the program starts, you can use Google Hangouts. The whole premise of Webinar Jeo is that it's built without Hangouts, but sometimes you can choose to use it if you want to, so you can have a Hangout-based presentation, but most of the people will be using a live kind of streaming presentation. There's different modes. Obviously, the camera mode, which shows your live webcam. The whiteboard mode, which I'll show you. So the whiteboard mode allows you to literally draw on the screen. So you can do all the kind of annotations. You can write text on there, however you want to, thick pencil, thin pencil, etc. Change the colors, just like this. So this allows you to annotate on the screen, which is really interactive. You can also do things like uploading images to that whiteboard. So I've chosen a flowchart, and then I can just kind of put that onto the whiteboard. And again, I can use my pencils then to draw literally straight onto that, and emphasize, for example, different areas of my flowchart. I can annotate directly on, and all of this is shown live. So that's the whiteboard. So we've got camera mode, and we've got whiteboard mode, and the other thing you've got as well is this screen share mode, which is kind of cool. What this allows you to do is choose your screen. So if you've got dual monitors, you can run a presentation on a second monitor. You can choose an individual window. So you can, say, for example, steer somebody through a PowerPoint presentation or Keynote. You can share your whole screen, including the browser. So if you've got something to show off on the web page, you can show it there. You can even play YouTube videos directly on the browser. So you can choose which window you're going to share with that screen share, which is really great. So the actual presentation window is very, very simple to use. It switches modes very easily. I think probably my only complaint with the whole system is that it takes maybe 2 or 3 seconds to change from camera to whiteboard to screen. But I mean, 2 or 3 seconds is not anything bad, but that's about the time. So this is the presentation window. Okay, so going back to the dashboard, that's a live webinar. We can also set up these recorded webinars. So if you've got a pre-existing recording, you can use from one that you've already had. There's that demonstration webinar. It does the recording straight away, so I can use that file, or I can use an external link, and that gives us the option to use a Vimeo video or a YouTube video straight onto the screen. And you can have this evergreen or recorded presentation so that people can sign up to it and choose the day and time that they want to watch. So we might say, we're going to make our webinar available on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at a morning session and an evening session. And then when somebody comes to visit the page, they'll be able to choose when they want to watch it. And also you can include this watch now option. So if you're driving traffic to the webinar and somebody's got the time now to watch it, they can elect to do that. Otherwise, if they say, for example, Wednesday at 8 o'clock, the system will send them a reminder 1 hour before so they can go and watch the presentation or take them straight through to the page. So the pre-recorded webinars are really cool. I like this one as well, the media elements. You can create buy buttons. So if I have a buy button, and I can send that direct to a page. I'll send it to Google, like that. And so I can literally trigger that during an event. So what I mean by that is, let me see if I can refresh this. Okay, so now I'm presenting my webinar, and I want to trigger my buy button. I can literally just pick it up like that and choose to display. And it's right here. Now I need to give that a label. I did that badly. So label, click here to buy now. So now let me just refresh this one more time. So I'm presenting, and I want somebody to go and click the button when I want them to. I can trigger that immediately. There's the buy button, show it now, click here to buy now, just as I said. And you can see down the bottom left, it'll take them to Google. But if I click on that, it will open in a new window, and they're taken straight to whatever URL I said. So you can create instant call to actions. So you can literally trigger it. If you're during a presentation, you can trigger it then and there and make people take action on the webinar, which is great. So that's the buy button. So you can also create surveys. So you can have multiple choice surveys or text answers, but the same way it pops up on people's screen at the time you want it to. So that's really great and allows you to really get interaction with people as well. So there's some really great features within the system. I mentioned in the chat, you can also have those pre-written replies. So you can drop in those pre-written replies. You can also have color-coded chat messages and multiple chat administrators. All of this is good stuff. And the most important thing is that the presentations themselves really are seamless. Some events that I've been on, you can see the camera clearly. You can see the webinar clearly. The PowerPoint just comes through easily. The audio is excellent, and it instantly records. And I guess that's the main point of a webinar system, is to make sure that it's enjoyable from the people who are watching it. There's lots of bonuses here as well. They've got some pre-done webinars as bonuses, and how to use Facebook to run your ads, and some software as well. There's some really cool bonuses. This is a training series, pre-recorded training on how to build webinars and make them run without even needing a list or anything at all. So overall, the Webinar Jeo system is easy to use. It's very powerful. And from an attendee's point of view, it's great to be able to watch that event and communicate live. I think it's got a much cleaner feel about it than anything with Google Hangouts, and it's certainly a lot less expensive than GoToWebinar. And really, overall, I love the program. There's lots and lots being added to it, and I just think it's a terrific program. And you get lots and lots of areas of the system that's already been released, and it's being done for a grandfather price. So you can get in at launch and get all of this cool stuff and everything that they're adding for a rock bottom price, which is fantastic. So overall, 5 stars from me for Webinar Jeo. Lots and lots of things that you can do with the program. I hope I've shown you that it's easy and quick to use, that it's a easy system to be able to work with and present with, and lots of bonuses and a great price as well. So that's Webinar Jeo. I hope you enjoyed our presentation.
Okay, well, that's it. I wish I could do a pro demonstration like that. I'm going to have to practice, I guess, but hopefully this has been useful to you. Like I said, this is a long-term play for me. I know the guy, Walt, and this is his second business class solution that he's put together. I'm not worried about where he's taken it from this point forward. I know it's going to be a rock-solid system. The framework, like I said, is completely in place and works great, and I'm sure the interface issues will be worked over time. I'm picky about stuff, so I just wanted to be real with you guys so that when you do purchase the product that you're aware of that. But again, long-term play for me, it's going to save me thousands of dollars, and I'll have a product that I can use, you know, for a very long time. So hopefully you guys see the value. Some of you guys would, yeah, go ahead and ask Rob, because I might not know much about it. You might have to send an email to support about it. You don't pay anything for this is his platform. He provides all of that. So when you create the webinar, it creates the virtual system on his system. That's what the beauty of his software is, that it's all taken care of for you. So you just quickly run a piece of software, and it's going to create the virtual server necessary to run your webinar. And if you end up filling in a bunch of people, it'll start building out more virtual servers altogether. The cost for this is the what is it, $397, $297? I forgot now. It's been a little while since I bought it. Let's see. Let me go down here, because they got two payments now: $297 per year and $39 per month. So whichever one you want to choose. The $297 is a once a year payment, and the $39 per month is, of course, per month payment. And that's the only cost that you have on this. Now, I do recommend if you do purchase the product, to go ahead and get the templates. Again, you've got a 30-day guarantee. You might as well go ahead and take a look at it all. I bought both items, of course. I bought the annual contract, and then I got the added templates, because I want to have that, you know, nice registration pages and everything. But this is the only cost that you'll have in the system, and then the system takes care of creating the servers and everything necessary for you to run a webinar. So hopefully that answers your question. Anybody else have any questions? Rob's the only one talking here. That's okay, Rob. Keep asking. All right. If there's no other questions, again, take a look at the link that we have here for the actual bonus. It's on joethegoatfarmer.com/webinargeo. That's webinar GEO. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if it's the right thing for you, if this is a product that you think you need, I would definitely jump on it. If it's not, that's okay too. So we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.